Hey, hi, fans. Hope everyone has had a good Saturday. There's some good hockey on. The weekend is definitely treating us well. We had another day in the green, which is always awesome. Out of the 9 wagers we laid, 6 of those paid. Overall picks, we were 6-4 on the picks. But Carolina hit on the best bet. The Alberta parlay, Calgary and Edmonton hit. And the other parlay, Anaheim, St. Louis. The one hit, the one did not. But then we got the Carolina, New Jersey under 6.5, but we missed the Arizona. All in all, though, again, ended up in the green, so it's always a good day when you end that way. Sunday now, let's see if we can finish it off strong. January 30th, there's 7 games on the board. First one, we have Seattle taking on the New York Rangers. Rangers are 6-4-0 in their last 10, current 2-game losing streak. Igor Shesterkin listed to be in net for New York. Play in Seattle with Philip Grubauer in net. They're 4-6-0 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. New York played a back-to-back Thursday and Friday, consecutive losses. 5-3 loss on the road facing Columbus. Friday, a 3-2 loss versus Minnesota at home. Friday's game, the Rangers had a 2-0 lead. After the first, the Wild then scored 3 and New York trailed. Ryan Strome had what he thought was a tying goal with a second left in the game. Ended up being rolled goalie interference, no goal. Barclay Goodrow scored for New York, and Chris Kreider also finding the twine with number 31 for him. 0-for-2 with the man up and 1-for-2 on the penalty kill. Not good enough against a good Minnesota team. New York, third in the Metropolitan with 60 points right now. Seattle, they're off a big win Thursday when the Kraken were tied with Pittsburgh after 3 periods, knotted up at 1 apiece, when Adam Larson finding the twine just over a minute into the overtime frame, giving the Kraken their first overtime victory. Final 2-1 for Seattle. Seattle's 4-2 in their last 6, including a 5-3 win over Florida. Grubauer, 4-1 in his last 5 starts, and looking stronger and better as his season goes on. The way he's been performing, it doesn't surprise me that he'll probably get the nod here for this game against New York. This series ends here Sunday, met once in late October. The Rangers won that game 3-1 in Seattle. New York's no joke. I mean, they got a strong home record, 13-4-2, but they are missing some pieces. I think Kakko is going to be out. Seidel, I think, is going to be out, and Adam Fox is going to be out of the lineup. So some holes there. Money line, plus 165 or 2.65 for Seattle, minus 185 or 1.54 for the New York Rangers, over under set at 6. These teams have only played once, so there's not much history there to look at. So I did look at some common opponents. Kraken won 46% of the games. New York won 50% of the games. Fairly balanced, New York with a bit of an edge. I think they have an edge here, but the way Grubauer's been playing, the way Seattle's been playing, the energy, I like the upset here. I'm going to take the Kraken to beat New York. Next game, we got the LA Kings taking on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh 7-1-2 in their last 10 with 2 overtime decisions. Tristan Jarry listed to be in net for the Penguins. LA has Cal Peterson listed to be in net, 5-3-2 in their last 10 with an overtime decision. The Penguins have collected points in the last 8 games and are 6-0-2 in that bracket. Their last game, a 3-2 shootout loss versus Detroit. Pittsburgh outshot the Red Wings 38-32, each team converting once when up a man. Casey DeSmith, he was in net and played an amazing game and kept his team in it. There's no question, stopping 30 of 32 shots. Jake Gensel notching both goals for Pittsburgh. Captain Crosby with helpers on both. The Penguins briefly were in first in the Metropolitan, currently second. And they're also second in the penalty kill and also second in goals against. Having a great season, Pittsburgh is. LA on the tail end, back-to-back. Played an exciting game early Saturday when the Kings lost 4-3 in overtime to Philadelphia. 9 minutes into the first frame, LA fell behind and trailed the whole game until Kopitar tied it up and evened it with only 38 seconds left in the game. Although just about halfway through overtime, Philly got a win, their first one after a 13-game losing streak. LA battled, outshot Philly 40-36. 1-for-3 went up a man and perfect on the penalty kill, although they gave up a shorthanded goal. Victor Arvidsson with a pair for LA. Great no-give-up attitude, right? I mean, to get a point and just never give up is a good attitude and good for LA. Another series finishes here. Teams first met just over a couple weeks ago when LA had their way with the Penguins. They won that game 6-2. Tristan Jarry, he was in net for Pittsburgh in that game. Money line plus 170 or 2.7 for LA, minus 200 or 1.5 for Pittsburgh. Over under set at 6. I like the home favorite here, Pittsburgh, to get that win. Next game, we got San Jose taking on Carolina. Carolina with Craig Anderson listed to be in net. 7-2-1 in their last 10. Current 3-game winning streak. San Jose with James Reimer listed right now. I'm not sure if he'll be in net, though. 5-3-2 in the last 10 with an overtime decision. Carolina in the back end of a back-to-back hockey as well. This weekend, Saturday, they edged a win versus New Jersey, 2-1. Now alone atop in the Metropolitan Division with 62 points, improved their home record to 15-4-1. Antti Ranta in goal for the first time in almost a month. So great W for him. All goals scored in the first period. Canes were not really, they played flat, I thought, the first couple periods. I watched a bit of that game. Obviously the Hartford Whalers night, all in green. They looked good. I like those uniforms on them. They looked really good. And I thought the third period they turned it on, but at that point, the goaltender at the other end of the ice, he stood tall and made it hard. Still, at the end of the day, they got the W, they got the 2 points, and that's what matters. Carolina won the game. San Jose also on back end, a back-to-back hockey Saturday, a heartbreaker when they were at Florida. Sharks led the entire game from the 6-minute mark in the first, when Thomas Hertl opened the scoring, and not until the third period, halfway through it, when it was 4-3 for San Jose, is when the Panthers tied it up and it went into extra time. The winning goal from Florida in overtime was an absolute beautiful goal and worth a look if you didn't watch that game or see it. I know it meant a loss for San Jose, but still an impressive point against a good team. Sharks 2 for 2 with the man advantage and perfect on the penalty kill. James Reimer, he was busy. He had stopped 45 of 50 shots. And that's why I don't think he might play Sunday. They might give him the nod and let him play. If anything, though, I think that's going to go in Carolina's favor. But we'll find out in a few hours. Sharks have a 1-0 lead in this 2-game series, November 22nd. It was a 2-1 Sharks win in overtime. Money line plus 230 for San Jose or 3.3. Carolina heavily favored at minus 280 or 1.36. Over under set at 6. I like Carolina to win the game. That's my pick. Canes to win. Number 4, Boston against Dallas. Dallas has Jake Ottinger listed to be in net. 5-5-0 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. Boston with Allmark confirmed to be between the pipes, 7-2-1 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Dallas could not make anything work on Friday when Braden Holtby faced his former team, Washington. The Stars were blanked 5-0. Shots even at 29 apiece, but over 3 on the power play and gave up 2 when down a man. Dallas had won 4 in a row prior to the loss. Stars have played better at home this season. They have a 14-5-1 home record. Braden Holtby, he's played Boston well in the past. He has an 18-5-0 record against the club with 4 shutouts in that time. So a chance he's in, but right now Ottinger is slotted to play. Boston's last action Friday at Arizona, a close game that ended 2-1 for the Bruins. 1 for 4 on the power play and perfect on the penalty kill. Coyotes had 3 chances. Allmark stopping 30 of 31, a .968 save percentage. Now 1-0-1 on this 3-game road trip back home after this one. With Tuukka Rask out with injury, Allmark likely to be between the pipes for his 3rd straight start. I think he's actually confirmed now. David Pastrnak, he's playing well. He's got points in 8 of his last games. 2-game series here, already played one back in October in Boston. It was their season opener, 3-1 final for the Bruins. And Jeremy Swayman's been recalled back in the lineup. He'll probably back up Allmark, so that's good. Minus 125 or 1.8 for the Bruins, plus 105 or 2.05 for Dallas. Over under set at 5.5. I like the visiting team here, Boston, to get the W. Number 5, Columbus against Montreal. Montreal 1-6-3 in their last 10, current 3-game losing streak. Caden Premu listed to be in net for the Canadiens. Columbus has Korpisalo listed to be in net, 4-6-0 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Poor Montreal, second home game into a long 8-game homestead and down 0-2. Back-to-back here this weekend. Saturday, the Canadiens face the Edmonton Oilers with Evander Kane in the lineup. Montreal lost that game 7-2. Montembeault allowed 6 on 16 shots in 2 periods. Then Caden Primieux, I think he allowed 1 in, I think it was 8 shots. Josh Anderson and Tyler Toffoli with goals for the Canadiens. Columbus also a struggling squad. No other way to look at it. 5th in the Metropolitan with 39 points. 18 points behind the 4th place team. Last action on Thursday when the Blue Jackets notched a win 5-3 over the New York Rangers. Columbus hung in there after falling 2-0 5 minutes into the first period. End of the first, it was 2-2. Blue Jackets outshot 36-19, yet fought and won. Boone Jenner, Sean Curley, both with a pair. Columbus having moments, yet a team lacking any solid consistency whatsoever. I mean, one day they beat Carolina 6-0, then they lose to Florida 9-2. Then they lose to Calgary 6-0, and then they beat the Rangers. So you just don't know what's going to happen and who's going to show up. Columbus beginning a back-to-back. Monday they play Florida. A 3-game series kicks off here on Sunday. Money line minus 125 or 1.8 for Columbus. Over-under set at 6. Montreal plus 105 or 2.05. I hope the strong playing Columbus team shows up. I'm picking another favorite, Columbus, to win that game against Montreal. Next game, Minnesota against the Islanders. Islanders 7-3-0 in their last 10, current 1-game losing streak. Sorokin listed to be in net for New York. Minnesota, Cam Talbot confirmed they're 7-2-1 in their last 10, 4-game winning streak. Islanders are beginning 3 games of hockey in 4 days here. Before the break. Thursday was their last game, which resulted in a 3-2 loss to the Los Angeles Kings. Matthew Barzal and Casey Zizekas finding the twine for New York. New York allowed that first goal, and the outcome is usually a loss when they allow that first one, never mind 2. It's just not good. New York came close, and they sure didn't mail it in by any means. Varlamov with a good outing. New York with games in hand against everyone in that division, but they need to start getting W's. Minnesota, 4th in the Central, 2nd best points percentage in the division. Friday, a game against the other New York team, the Rangers. And even though down 2-0 after the first, the Wild came back and answered with 3 to get the W. Final 3-2 for the Wild. Mats Zuccarello and Kevin Fiala both now with a 10-game point streak. Both of them were named stars of that game as well. Talbot's first full game back in action, stopping 25 of 27, a .926 save percentage. The Wild have won 7 of their last 8 games. This 2-game series concludes Sunday, November 7th was the first time they met. 5-2 win for Minnesota. You know, I've been back and forth on this game. I'm a fan of both teams. I think it could go either way. But the way Minnesota's playing, I got to go the Wild here. I'd like to go New York and see them win at home and get a W, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to go the Minnesota team to get the win. Last game, we got Buffalo against Colorado. Colorado 9-0-1 in their last 10, current 9-game winning streak. Darcy Kemper listed to be in net. Buffalo has Dustin Tokarski listed to be in net. 4-5-1 in their last 10, current 1-game winning streak. Colorado 14-0-1 so far this calendar year. Not one regulation loss. Friday at Chicago, going into the third, it was 2-0 for the Avalanche. The third period had 8 goals in it. 6-4 final for Colorado. Gabriel Landeskog finding the twine twice. Makar, Kadri, Newhook, and Comfer all finding the back of the net. 2 for 3 on the power play, and another team that was perfect on the penalty kill. And the Hawks had 3 chances. Colorado is going to bring a game here tonight. You got to know it. They're going to try to end this month off perfect without one regulation loss. They're first in goals for now at 4.14. Buffalo off a win Saturday against Arizona, 3-1 final for the Sabres, and now they play Colorado here. It's going to be a bit of a tougher match. Craig Anderson made his first return for Buffalo, stopping 27 of 28. Good one, especially for his return, and never mind that he's 40 years old. So it was an awesome game for him. I mean, he hadn't played since November, right? And now Tokarski slotted to be in net. He hasn't played since November with his Buffalo team with these goalie issues, just keeping guys healthy. So we'll see if he can do as good as Anderson did, right? Sabres struggles continue. I think today they had to place another 3 players in COVID protocol, along with, I think, 4 or 5 staff members as well. Okpoza, Peyton Krebs, Alex Tuck all found the scoreboard in that game against Arizona for the Sabres. This is a first of a 2-game series. Money line plus 320 or 4.2 for Buffalo. Over under set at 6. Colorado heavily favored. Minus 430 or 1.23. I take the Avalanche to win that game. I'm going to stay fairly quiet here on Sunday because I just want to relax a little bit, watch some hockey and watch some football. My best bet, though, I'm going to go Boston. And I'll do 5 there to win the game. And I'm going to go 1 parlay, and I'm going to use that upset Seattle and then take Pittsburgh with them, both on the money line. And then I'm going to do a solo bet on Columbus to beat Montreal. And that's all I'm going to do to see if I can end the weekend strong. Hope everyone has a great Sunday. Good luck with your picks. Enjoy some hockey. Enjoy some football. Thanks for watching. Talk soon.